Welcome back to the garage here at Basin Motorsports. So today I plan to have a video out on working on the 86 hatchback, the Mustang. And I got everything sanded yesterday, but the weather has not been nice all weekend. So yesterday it was very windy and it almost took down my whole sanding booth. You can kind of see I took the back edge apart here, so you can kind of get in there. And then, of course, as soon as I did that, it had a 23-mile-an-hour wind gust, which made this a parachute and about ripped the whole thing apart. So rather than have a video out on the 86 of getting it out of the garage and that, today is going to be another Porsche video. So I had planned to buy parts for my 944 that I bought from Copart last year. It's the one that's sitting out there in storage. And so yesterday, an acquaintance of mine that's a couple hours away asked what my next plans were because he saw that I sold the Wide Fox this week. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to finish the 86. I'm going to put in a 2-post lift. And then I've got a Porsche 944 in storage that I need to start working on. And he said, you don't need any parts, do you? And I thought, yeah, I actually do need some parts. He says, well, my father-in-law has a Porsche 944 just sitting there, and he's willing to let it go for a really low price. So he sends it over there, sends me some pictures of it. It turns out it's an 86. It's a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter, very similar to mine. Mine's an 87. It's a darker gray, but the paint looks pretty decent. They bought it for a parts car, and they were fixing a wrecked one. They bought, I think, one or two. I can't remember how it was. They bought them for parts. He's had one still sitting there that needs to be taken apart. And he's got half of the interior of another one. And they're all in tan interior, so they're not any good to me because I'm going to keep mine black. We are going to start making plans to get over there and get it tomorrow. Now, of course, a lot of times when things are very economically priced, it comes with some strings attached, and today that is going to be the case. So the 86 Porsche kind of parts car and all the other stuff that I'm going to get is not going to have wheels, which means I've got to take on off of mine. So if I kind of look here, get out of the way, dude. You can see back there, there is no wheel. There are no wheels and tires on my current 944 that's in storage. Of course, it's sitting in gravel, which means I had to find a ton of wood chunks, like 2x6s and that. And of course, we've had cutoffs everywhere from building to buildings and that. Not a big deal, but it was exciting. I never put a 944 on jack stand, so I read about it this morning on a couple different places. They all seemed to say the same thing. There's a jack point on the sill down here. There's kind of like a little circle-ish puck, you want to call it that. On the sill, there's a dimple in the metal on the outside. You put the jack there, you can lift up the half of the car, and then there are places underneath on the subframe or the unibody itself, and you can lift from there. So I've got it sitting up here. She's stable, all good. Wheels and tires are in the Suburban, and tomorrow, it's just a matter of snatching up the trailer and getting out of here and going and getting everything. So we'll see you tomorrow. 944, rescue again. So the trip over and back was pretty simple. As I left the Canaan Basin, the weather was in the low 40s. Light traffic, no big deal. But as I got up over the summit, going over the hill, the Cascades proved to have a little bit of snow. So a few miles of the trip actually snowed. There was definitely snow on the side of the road. So here's what I ended up picking up. This is a 1986 Porsche 944. It's a dark metallic, so this is actually the darker gray of this model year. Mine is the lighter silver. So if I kind of walk around, what you'll see is that it's not exactly in that great a shape. You can see around the wheel well, there is some rust, paint chips. Definitely has seen the rougher side. Thankfully, it does have script door handles, which are a little bit more valuable than not, even though that one's broken. You can kind of look, the tail light, well, it's been kind of seen better days. Bumper cover seen better days. Thankfully it does have the spoiler, which I did need for my 87. These windows, this actually window is in great shape. So normally you'll get a separation between this trim piece and the glass, which tends to leak. This has no separation, and the gas shocks are not hooked up to this, so I don't know if they're good or bad, but there's no separation here, which is awesome. I'm gonna just take this whole glass, assuming that the defroster works. You can kind of look down in there. That is the extra pieces that he gave me. So it's all tan interior. That's a complete back seat, trunk area. The trunk piece is an extra set of quarter glasses. So I'll now have 2 of these extras, which I do need, at least on the driver's side. I also have an extra set of taillights. So this one has a good drivers, which I need for the 87, and I bought 3 extra sets plus the extra set in there. So now I'm going to have 4 extra sets of taillights. You can see the roof metal definitely is chipped up. Paint is in really pretty bad shape, but that's okay. Kind of look here, if I show you under the hood, nothing special other than it's a 2.5 liter. Got some rust in the bad area. Now the really good thing that I was very excited about, so the glass on the 80 or the 944s, I should say, on any model year, they have the antenna integrated into the windshield. You can kind of see that copper there. Now the windshields themselves, they are getting very hard to find. Most of the new aftermarket ones do not have the antenna integrated into the windshield. Now the good thing about that, or the bad thing about that, is that they're getting very hard to find. In order to get one with the integrated antenna into the windshield, last I saw, there was only one company that was able to import them out of Germany, and it was about a 4-month wait time if they didn't have them in stock, and they were approximately $400 for the windshield. That doesn't include, you know, your local glass company taking the old one out, putting the new one in, anything like that. So my plan is on this one to strip out this glass. I'm going to cut it out myself, probably. If not, I'll drag this down and have them cut it out. But I'm going to take this windshield. There's no chips, there's no scratches. I did find a receipt in there into the paperwork for the car that this windshield is or has been replaced. It is new. It's, gosh, I don't know. It was probably replaced in like 07, so it's not like it's fresh off the truck, but it's been sitting for almost 15 years to where this car has not moved. Now if you look at the other side, exactly, you can see the header panel's in really bad shape there. Missing the lids for the lights. Fascia's broken. That was partly us unloading it. We made a mistake. Everything else is pretty good. It's got the grommets and all the other stuff that you need, and even the bumper cover that I do need for my 87. Now as you look at the inside of the car, well, by golly, it has seen better days. But you do have the seats, the dash is there, even though it's completely cracked up. All the interior, I guess you could say, is here. It's not great, but it's okay. Take the carpet out, we'll get it cleaned up, bid it for sale. Same thing on the back, you can kind of look in there. Seats are in pretty good shape. They're just, you know, not very well maintained. It's been sitting for so long. And these front seats have definitely seen better days. But you know, for spares, if somebody wanted them and wanted to have some seats redone, they could at least get the frames out, take off all the foam and the material and that, get them redone, and then immediately change them out. You know, you don't have to send your seats out or wait. You could build a second set, swap them over. So there you go. This is what I drug home. So like I said, it's nothing fancy other than I needed other parts for my 87, which this car does have. I think I lucked out really well on the windshield, that it is a pristine windshield. You know, if I had to pay $400 for it and have it shipped and all that, ooh, boy, it's gonna be definitely expensive. I was already thinking aftermarket just for the cost alone, and then just not have a radio that plays radio stations. It would just be like a USB or a CD or whatever else. If I can get the hatch off and have no problems with it, get it all cleaned up, that is definitely worth something. I'll strip this car completely, sell off all the interior because I don't need it because it's the wrong color. I wanted to do a dash project trying to fix this one, so I can definitely do that with this one. And if I screw it up, hey, it was already kind of garbage in the meantime. But otherwise, I'll have 2 extra set of quarter windows to tinker with. I'll have 4 sets of taillights, which I don't even know what I'm going to do with yet, but I've got some ideas on doing some stuff. Front beam, rear bumper, lots of extra parts. And one of the things I really wanted to do was that I don't see a play series out there for the 944 on how to take this car apart piece by piece. A lot of people do a lot of the simple repairs, you know, how to change a lot of things, but you see a lot of over and over these simple questions of how to take this off, how to do this, how to do that. Well, since I have a scrap car, basically, what I'm going to do is take it apart piece by piece and film that. And it could be 3 minutes, it could be 30 minutes taking the stuff apart, how to put it back together. But I figure if I take off what I want and the parts that I want to keep are already more valuable than the $400 car I just bought, I can just turn that into a series of how to take it apart, put it back together, and when I'm done, I keep what I want and I scrap the rest or I sell the rest. So I'm not going to lose money on it. And it helped out an acquaintance and a family member of that acquaintance to get rid of a car that has been sitting there collecting dirt, dust, and grime for I don't know how long, a decade maybe. So that's it, guys. What do you think? Did I make out pretty good? Bought a $400 car and then drug it home on a trailer. Well, you can imagine it's not something that everybody's happy with around here, but that's okay. We're gonna make it used to our advantage. But that's it. Thanks for hanging out. What do you think? Good, bad? Otherwise, we'll see you next time.